No, we'll be remiss not to talk about some of the other winners this past week. Damon Hedda and Dave Chisnell following on in their recent Euro Tour titles by winning on the floor. But Rob Cross, who still has somehow never won on the European Tour, despite about a billion runner-ups, was the other winner this week. Do you think that, as things stand, Rob is on track to get back in the Premier League after narrowly missing out this year?
Yeah, it's always good to get a Rob Cross appreciation minute in the show, and it is an interesting one because the Premier League debate it is going to be hotting up as each week passes. Now, more and more TV events taking place, and this weekend, the European Championship. Rob Cross, he is the defending champion, won it last year to become a four-hit wonder, beat Michael van Gerwen in the final to win it for the second time, but that wasn't enough, as you mentioned there, to get in the Premier League this year. Missed out, and we saw that the number of players, it dropped from 10 to 8. And of course, Rob was eliminated from the Premier League in these last 2 years, 2020 and 2021, which mustn't have helped his chances. But I think not being in the Premier League this year has given Rob a bit of hunger back, and he's gone back to that schedule of his first year on the tour, 2017, when he wasn't in the Premier League. And he was playing all the Pro Tours, the Euro Tours, and getting in the TV events. And look at what he's done this year. Look at how many finals he's made on the Pro Tour, 3 on the Euro Tour. He's won 2 Players' Championships now as well. And you look at Darts Oracle, he's already won as many games as he did last year, and we've still got 2 more months to go. So he's in a fairly good position. And the run that he had to the title on Saturday, the 110 average to beat Callum Reeds, and then, okay, the final, it dropped to a 94, but some of the highlights in that final, the 164 finish, the 160 finish, then the 162 to leave 143, which he took out as well. So there was some very special stuff there from Rob Cross, and 2 titles for the year now. But I think you'd say the thing that's probably holding him back from being firmly in that Premier League debate is a deep run in a major. And we're possibly setting him up for one now, because every time people start to question Rob Cross's form, particularly in the TV events, he has a dry spell, goes out early regularly, then pops up with a final or with a title, goes all the way like he did 12 months ago in the European Championship. So, yeah, I think the thing that's probably holding him back at the moment is that run on TV, and he's probably going to be in the Grand Slam. It'd be unlikely to see him miss out now, but yeah, we'll see him in everything now for the rest of the year. And you mentioned it last week or the week before, that the post-World Championship Order of Merit, Rob Cross currently 5th on that list. So he's a fair whack beyond Michael Smith for that 4th spot, something like 120, 130 grand. But if he goes and wins one of the major titles, then he could be in the top 4, and that would be enough to get him back in the Premier League. So, yeah, I think we need to see Rob Cross do something in the TV events coming up. But like I say, I think he's overdue a run on TV, and this time of year, it is the perfect time of year to do it as well.
Yeah, I agree. What you said there, that the one thing that's missing that is going to make the big difference is that big run on television. Or at least we think so. Obviously, he only went and won the European Championship 12 months ago, and it still wasn't enough to get him in. But he also didn't have the rest of the CV over the course of the 2021 season that he's had this year. He's made the trio of Euro Tour finals. He's won multiple titles on the floor. His overall average this year, according to Darts Oracle, is the 8th highest, and just a fraction of a point behind Luke Humphries, who's won 4 Euro Tour titles this year, and Michael Smith, who are in 7th and 6th. So he's, playing in a top 8 standard. If you look at averages, he's winning titles on the floor. He's making deep runs on the European Tour. The only thing missing right now is that big run on television. And if he gets that, he will be in the Premier League. He might be in the Premier League anyway, depending on how things stand out. But that does get back to what we talked about last week, which is that with only 8 spots on quite a few players who've already gone on deep runs in television events, either winning them or making finals, it will be tough for Rob Cross to get in if he's not able to do the same, which is either win or reach the final of one of the remaining events, or maybe make the semifinals of the World Championship. Maybe a couple semifinals and other events can cumulatively add up and get him in. But he's going to probably have to make a final or at the World to make the semifinals to get in, because you still have Michael van Gerwen, you still have Peter Wright, you still have Gerwyn Price, who are going to be in regardless. There's going to be someone who's going to be number 4. That race is more wide open. It could be Michael Smith. It could be Luke Humphries, the way things are going right now. There's a lot of players who could, and that person will obviously get in automatically. But beyond that, Luke Humphries is in that conversation to be in next year. Johnny Clayton, he hasn't had the same success in ranking events as he's had in non-ranking events, but that didn't stop him getting in the last couple of years because, well, he won those non-ranking majors. You also have Danny Noppert, who won the UK Open. So there's a lot of players in that conversation, which means I think Rob Cross still needs to do something in one of the remaining televised events. But he has been threatening, and he's looked like one of the 8 best players in the world over the course of this year. So I think he has the inside track. I think he's playing at the level that's needed for him to steal one of those majors or make a final in one of those majors to get back. So in that respect, he is on track. He's playing at that level and putting together overall the background CV that he needs. But he needs as well that big major triumph or final appearance, which he hasn't had yet that year, to get him in. On track, yes, but still with work to do.